Hi, I'm Todd Malacote, the SEO faculty for Market Motive and online marketing consultant at stuntdouble.com, and I'm here today with part 3 of how-to for evaluating and building quality citations. We're going to look at equity education. Link equity education is important from the top down of your organization so that your boss, your partner, your fellow coworkers know just how important these links are to your rankings, to your conversions, to your sales, because they are the firepower for your rankings. So we're going to look at how to kind of teach the uninitiated, as well as how to understand why link equity is important through the 6 major link value factors, and understanding an expected cost per acquisition, or what I call ECPA, with regards to the link matrix. With setting expectations, we talked about the CEO that really wants to rank for web hosting in part 1, and saying, okay, this is your link popularity. You're going to go to your boss and say, okay, we need this global link popularity, and you're going to explain PageRank, and he's going to say, don't worry, all we need is a little bit more PageRanks. And you're going to say, oh boy, the CEO is going to be looking at our toolbar PageRank, which really doesn't mean a whole lot anymore. Unfortunately, Google released the PageRank toolbar years ago, and for a couple of years it was valuable, and we said, you know what, a PageRank 5 is worth $500 a month, or a PageRank 6 is worth $600 a month, or a PageRank 7 is worth $2,000 a month just for a single link. And we knew that there was value and equity associated with that toolbar PageRank. Well, now it's just for entertainment purposes only. Toolbar PageRank doesn't mean much, so when your CEO says all we need is a little bit more PageRanks, you need to be able to correct them and say, okay, we need some link juice, we need some link value, we need link equity. All these things are the same thing. There is a conceptual nature to links and the value of those links, and we need to find those high link popularity links in order to give the most benefit to our site. So we do want to do this equity assessment and measure link value. For years I said, well, I had people ask, well, what's a link really worth? And there's so many answers to that question, and that I would always end up giving vague answers. So here's the specific answer. If you're going to go out and buy links just based on PageRank, here's what it might cost you. If it's a PageRank 3, a PPR 3, PageRank 3, and a domain PageRank 4, that's going to cost you $590 or $50 a month. Now, this is straight up buying links. This is not endorsed by Google in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of risk involved in this, and the paid links debate has been raging on since about 2006, and it's probably not going to go away anytime soon. People have been doing it for years. Internet.com sold all kinds of links, and a lot of the sites that were on there still rank very, very strongly today because of the kickstart they got from that. So you can't really just go out and buy links anymore. It's a bad idea. I don't endorse it, but you do have to know that that links are going to cost you in some way. I've been told by Google engineers before, after we had this debate on and on and on, you know, don't call it link buying, call it business development. And it's on a different scale, but that's really what it needs to be. Is you have to call it business development, and you can't go buying links that are not relevant to your site and get away and expect that you're going to get away with it forever. You will see competitors doing this, and it's frustrating, but it's just part of the game of SEO. Don't go out and just buy links, but have a process and have those linkable assets that you can go out and request links, and then you don't have to pay for them. Then you're not paying every month for the same link. Then you're just reaping the benefits of those links coming back into your widgets and your content and your link bait and all the other great linkable assets that you've created. So the 6 major factors, this is the most important thing, and you got to teach your coworkers and everything else and your bosses at least some of this. I like to think of it as estimated cost per acquisition. So if you're going to go out and buy that PageRank 5, we know it's going to cost us $50 a month. So that's a good baseline for saying this is our estimated cost per acquisition. If we get that link for less than $50 a month or $600 total, we're going to be pretty happy with that. And if we get a whole bunch of those, then we start scaling this. Our boss, our partner, our vendors know these links are worthwhile, and we know that we would pay that amount for them, but we got them for a lot cheaper because we did a great piece of link bait. So you need to budget the amount of time you would comfortably spend on an acquisition of a single link of a certain type. So if it's a PageRank 6, you might say, hey, you know what, I might spend all week, my whole entire week, just trying to get this single link, just going back and forth by email, doing anything I can. It's a very worthwhile link, so I know that I'm going to spend a significant amount of time on it. And the flip side is true. If it's a link that's only, a PageRank 1 or a MozRank 1, we're not going to spend that much time there. We're just going to, maybe send a link request, maybe ask nicely. If they don't respond, we're not going to worry about it. But what we really have to know is each of these links has an inherent link equity value, and you need to be focused on that when you're doing your link acquisition. Every single link marginally helps you, and some a whole lot more than others. One link can make a really big difference sometime if it's the right kind of link. So what we're going to do is the toolbar link blink test. You're going to go download the SEO Moz toolbar or the SEO Quake toolbar that's listed here, and you're going to look at 4 things. You're going to look at the total unique linking domains to the domain, the total number of links to the page, the placement on the page, and the age of the site. Just looking at these, we can get a pretty good benchmark for how valuable a link is. Is it worth $10, $100, $1,000, or $10,000? If it's worth $10,000, I might spend all month on that link. So after we do the link blink test with the toolbar, you should be able to do that in literally minutes, and probably less than minutes. Just in the blink of an eye, you should be able to run that test, and after a while you'll get really good at it and be able to say, okay, that's what this link is worth, or it's not worth anything. So after we do that, we can look in a little bit more depth if we want to, and look what's behind the scenes. And the 6 major factors that we're going to look at here are very similar. We're going to look at the total inbound links to the page using Yahoo SEO Moz or Majestic SEO, the total links to the domain, the MozRank, MozTrust of the page and of the domain. You can also use AC rank or whatever other link metrics that gauge link equity. You can use PageRank, but toolbar PageRank is really not a good metric anymore. You can look at the age of the domain linking to you as well as the placement on the page. There's also a wild card here of if you're in different verticals that are very competitive, like insurance, the cost per click is going to be very high, and the cost and the value of those links is also going to be a whole lot higher. So to measure the total inbound links to the page, we're going to use Yahoo Site Explorer, and this will tell us, or one of the toolbars. We can also look at the toolbar here for total links to the domain, or unique linking domains, or root domains. These are all kind of the same thing. You'll see here it says 54,000 links from 3,600 root domains. That is a unique linking domain, sometimes called a fully qualified domain or a root domain, and what that really is just one unique site. So on lots of these 3,000 sites, I have multiple links here. So we see that there's links, multiple links coming from one site. Each unique linking domain is very valuable. Sometimes a run a site link will give you several links from the same site, but what you really want to look at is those root linking domains, because those are one of the major search ranking factors. If I looked at one metric across the board for how sites were ranking, that's what I would look at first. Very important metric to keep in mind. The MozRank trust, or MozRank and MozTrust to the page, or PageRank, or AC rank, whatever you choose to use, just be consistent with it. That's the page authority there, the domain authority. We're going to look at that and say, okay, what's the domain authority or page authority of this link, and is it worthwhile to get? Same thing for from the page, and you have to consider the page you're getting a link from as well as the domain as a whole, because the domain as a whole might be a MozRank 80, but the page you're getting it from might be way down in the architecture, and it might only be a MozRank 10. So it's going to be a little less valuable, or you're going to have to say, hey, can we get a link that's a little bit higher up in your page hierarchy and has a little bit more page authority. The domain creation date, we can look up through archive.org or Whois. This just tells us how old the site is. It's just a pretty good indicator of how trusted and old the site is, and is worthwhile to look at. We can do that through the SEO book toolbar that has age built into it. We can do it through archive.org. We can do it through whois.sc / the name of the domain. In this case, it would be whois.sc / educationaltoysplanet.com, and that would show us when the domain was created. Finally, the placement and the anchor text. This is an AdSense heat map for the most valuable areas of the site, and this shows us, obviously the middle primary content is the best place to get a link. That's going to be more valuable than a link in your footer. So you have to keep this in mind when you're coming up with that estimated cost per acquisition. The text, the anchor text, is also important. You want your keywords incorporated into that link. You don't want it to say click here. Unless you have way too much optimized anchor text, you always want it to say your keywords in it, because you are what your links say you are. So, and you also want them in the most valuable areas. Brian Eisenberg uses the battleship grid, he calls it, and the most valuable areas of content are obviously right in the middle where people look. The ads off to the side are a little bit less valuable, and that the same thing is going to hold true for where you get your links. You're going to want it right in the meaty areas of that content. This is why guest posts and guest blog posts and that types of links are very valuable, because they're in that meaty content area of the site. And then as the wild card factor, the paid search side of things tells you the cost per click for a given keyword. Obviously much more expensive for mortgage type terms where you're paying $10 to $30 a click than it is for educational toys where you're paying $1 to $2 a click. So you can expect that your estimated cost per acquisition for real estate and for mortgages is going to be a whole lot higher than it is for educational toys, because there's just a whole lot more profit and margin and difficulty in these types of phrases. So it's important to keep that in mind as a kind of a wild card factor as well. So the 6 major link factors for evaluating one unique linking domain to your site would be the inbound links to the page, total links to the domain, Moz rank, Moz trust to the page and domain, age of the domain, and placement. We can measure all these things pretty easily, and we need to keep those in mind when coming up with this estimated cost per acquisition. How much would you spend on a single link of this type, knowing that the link has inherent value and helps you towards your SEO goals? SEO Gadget did a nice infographic and study on the quality of a link factors. You can follow up there with the link below, and that's a pretty good read and worthwhile. So you need to be able to see when you look through, we don't have Site Explorer, Yahoo Site Explorer anymore, but we do the same thing with Open Site Explorer, and we look at these links and we say, hey, they're getting a link from Blogorama and Wild Nature Pet. These look a little bit off topic. I don't really want to get those, but I'm identifying the types of links that they're using. And you need to be able to see those links through exploring your competitor's backlink profile. And then you also need to be able to fill out the link matrix, which is a part of your homework. So what we're going to do here is, all I want you to do on this homework is really easy. I want you to say Educational Toys Blog and look at the metrics for this and look at their total links to the domain, total links to the page, their Moz rank, etc., and see where on this matrix they fall. And then here I want you to fill this out. It's really easy. I'm going to start with $1 right here, and I'm going to end it with $10,000 right here. And I just want you to fill that in down the list and say, okay, for a link of this type, what would our expected cost per acquisition be? We're not buying these links. We just want to set the expectation of what it would cost with resources, with time, etc., to get a link of this type. Obviously, it's going to cost a whole lot more to get a link with a link from a site that has 750,000 links to the page and 7 million links to the domain. It's a Moz rank 8. It's 8 years old. You get great placement, and your keyword is a $20 click. You're going to pay some big bucks for that one there. What you're usually going to get, your normal distribution of links is going to be in this 3 to 6 range probably, or 1 to 6 range. This is where you're going to be looking. 3s, 4s, and 5s are going to be your meaty links, and you might spend, your estimated cost per acquisition might be $100 to $1,000 in here. So fill out that and consider what you would expect to pay for per acquisition for each of these types of links. You can do that with the Linkbuilding test. You can do it with the overall review of all 6 major factors, but you really need to understand these factors, and you need to teach it within your organization. You really need to do some education throughout your entire organization for people to understand this and put it in very simple terms for them. Links equals rankings equals bottom line dollar figure or dollar signs. You need to be able to track this. It's a little bit ambiguous to the uninitiated, so you have to be very diligent in educating the people around you to know, so they know what you're doing, so that they know the value of these links, so that they can help you in your outreach strategy. So we looked at how to educate the major factors, a little bit on the link matrix and estimated cost per acquisition. You should be able to fill that out and educate those around you on exactly what link equity is and how it affects your rankings. Thank you for joining me in part 3, and can't wait to see you in part 4.